So for this meal, you're going to be using half of an onion, some garlic, red pepper, and carrots. And I'm using the chicken legs as my choice of meat, but that's up to you what you want to use. So I started by chopping up the onions. And if you don't want to use chicken for this meal, I do have a vegetarian replacement later on in this video. Then I moved on to cleaning my red pepper. And I just chopped it up. For my garlic, I tend to put the knife over it and then kind of punch it so that way it could flatten out, and then I go ahead and chop it. It just makes it a lot easier to start cutting your garlic. I left a little bit on the side for my husband's vegetarian option, but the other one I threw on the chicken. And I drizzled some oil on there. And unfortunately, my camera, for some reason, something happened. I couldn't record the part where I'm putting all the spices in, but I'll tell you what spices I did put in. I put oregano, garlic salt, pepper, regular salt, and obviously the oil that you guys saw. So I drizzled some oil on my pan. Once I saw that the oil was hot, I went ahead and I put my chicken in there. And you want to throw all those veggies that you cut along with your chicken or whichever meat you're using. And I always say I'm not going to do this, but I always wait till this spot to go ahead and shred my carrots on top of my food. I don't know why I do that, but it's just the way I do it. But you are going to want to shred some carrot on there and then pour some water on top just so it won't dry up. And just go ahead and mix that. I use my kettle for my pouring of water on anything that I'm cooking, but that's up to you. You can just use it straight from the sink. So I covered that so it could cook thoroughly. And this was like very interesting. I wanted to do the corn and I'm gonna saute it actually. So I decided to break it up into little pieces, and at first it was kind of easy, but I struggled a little bit, so please, enjoy my struggle with my corn. Okay, so now I just checked up on my chicken and make sure that I flipped it over just so I can get everything cooked up. I do see some blood and you definitely don't want that in chicken, so you want to make sure you cook chicken for a very long time to not get anybody sick or yourself. And now that my water is boiling, I threw my corn in there. And again, checking on my chicken. I usually do this a couple of times while I'm cooking. If you watched any of my other videos, I am crazy about the chicken. I make sure that it is so cooked, and I don't know what it is about chicken. It just makes me nervous. Alright, so moving on to the broccoli. I'm cutting it like so and just ripping up apart the little stems with my hands. If you don't like broccoli, you can also use peas. You can use, green beans for this meal. It's whatever you want to put into your chicken or whatever meat you're using. And for the broccoli or whatever vegetable you're using, do not put it in the pan, just set it aside for now. And now I'll be working on my corn. So I threw some butter on a pan while it was hot and just let that melt. And once it was ready, I threw my corn on there. This is my first time trying this, so I wasn't very sure how it was gonna end up. It definitely got the way I wanted it, So it was definitely a good thing. I would suggest you guys trying this. It just avoids you going to the barbecue if you know you're not going to barbecue that day. And just make sure you're always flipping them, that way it just cooks evenly. And for my husband, on the top left corner, I am making a plant-based burger with the veggies and the broccoli. And at this time, I did throw my broccoli into the chicken. And I covered that up so that way I didn't want to cook the broccoli way too much. I just kind of wanted it to be a little bit steamed. And since my husband's food cooks so fast, I know exactly a perfect time to put the broccoli in there. And the same spices went in his food: the oregano, the garlic salt, the regular salt, and some pepper. Alright, and I put the broccoli and some water in there. Same steps I took for the chicken. And I just covered that up. So here they are. And here's the finished product. It was very yummy.